Australia yesterday reached a significant milestone in this pandemic. For the first day in several months, we had no locally acquired cases of coronavirus in the entire country. That won't be repeated today, unfortunately. Victoria's found 4 cases. All of them were acquired in the state. But New South Wales does have some cause to celebrate. It's today reached a 14th straight day, 2 full weeks, without a single case of community transmission, perhaps faster than many might have expected. The situation here is a far cry from what's happening overseas, and in many countries overseas it's becoming increasingly difficult to know exactly what's going on. Brazil, around a week ago, started to change the way it reported coronavirus statistics. It pulled away months' worth of historical data on order of the president, Jair Bolsonaro. But overnight, the Supreme Court in Brazil has ordered that the government restore that information, and so we're getting a much better picture again of what's happened in Brazil. Overnight, they've just had 32,000 cases confirmed, taking them to almost 740,000. It is the worst outbreak in the world still, and overnight is the second worst day on record for Brazil. Now, Brazil's not the only country that's been doing some strange things with numbers. Spain is another one. They've been changing the way that they report deaths. A few weeks ago, they were seeing in the order of 50, 70 deaths every day, but that's dropped back down to almost virtually 0 for the last couple of weeks. It's not because they've had an incredible success in crushing that curve, it's just because they've changed the way they report the figures. They're no longer reporting every single death reported to authorities, only the ones that came in the past day, and then once a week or so, updating all of the historical figures. It means we don't really have a very good idea about what's going on in Spain on a day-to-day basis. Now, another country we should keep an eye on is the United States. Much of the attention has shifted to other outbreaks where the situation is growing at a much faster rate. In the US, the cases have been flat for several months now and in fact easing very slightly. But this is masking what's going on in several states. Restrictions across much of the US, these harsh stay-at-home orders have eased, and they've eased several weeks ago now. We might be starting to see the effect of what's happened. The state of New York is still looking better than it was at the worst point in this epidemic, but if we have a look at a handful of other states, we can see California is now recording more cases each day than it's ever seen through this pandemic, 2,700 on a weekly average. We're seeing about 1,600 cases a day in Texas. We're seeing around 1,200 in Florida, and that's rivaling the sorts of numbers we were seeing in the very initial outbreaks when it was at its most serious. So what we might be starting to see now is a curve that's ticking up again after some early success with these stay-at-home orders now that they've been lifted.